Tonight we're going to smoke a pork butt, Boston butt, pork shoulder, whatever you want to call it, on the Big Green Egg. I'm not going to go through the specifics of the Big Green Eggs because that's a little bit complicated. You can do it on any smoker, but the process going into the egg is kind of what I'm going to focus on. And it's a pretty simple one. First of all, I make a brine out of about that much apple juice in any kind of container you can put the butt in. I put about a half a cup or 3/4 of a cup of brown sugar, about a half a cup or 3/4 of a cup of kosher salt, and then I put in about 4 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar. And then I did this about 2 days ago, and this pork butt's been sitting in here since Thursday. So it kind of looks like toilet water in there, but it smells actually pretty good. So it's been sitting in there, and in my opinion, I've done, I don't know, probably 100 of these things over the years. This is the most important step. So if you learn something out of what I'm doing, if you learn anything, this is the first step. Just make sure you brine it before you put it on, because you can't really screw it up after that. Here it is after I pulled it out of the brining agent. And you can kind of see this was the one little part that was sticking above the brine. And what that brine does is it allows the meat to absorb, I guess it's something to do with the salt and stuff, but it absorbs the moisture and it helps keep it juicy when you cook it. And like I said, that's the brining part is the most important part in my observation of doing this over the years. But basically what I do is just kind of pat it dry. Get a paper towel, pat it dry, and you can see that's the part that was above the line, and it's a different color. But this stuff, that meat right in there, that's because it just soaked up all the goodness of that apple juice and salts and everything. So anyways, make sure it's dry, and then we're gonna basically slather it with a little bit of any kind of mustard you want. And the mustard doesn't affect the taste of it. It's just kind of a binding agent for the rub to go on. And you can do this or not do it. I've seen 20 videos where people argue about whether you need to do this or not. So it's up to you. But this is what I do. Now that I have this thing kind of rubbed with mustard, you want to put on your dry rub. And you can use anything you want. I mean, you can look on the internet and there's 1,000 different people that recommend whatever, but this is just a generic one. I think I got that from Walmart. It was just, I have found it really doesn't matter what you put on it at this point. I mean, you want to put some kind of rub on it, but if you spent $20 on that or $2 on the rub, it really doesn't make much of a difference at the end. So, yep, we're going to rub it with this Rib Rack Spice Rub pork. And I like to put a lot on there, so don't skimp on it. Just go for it with all this, and then do every side once you get it on there. Maybe just press it into the crevices and stuff. And you want to get every side. You want the sides. That side I haven't done yet. You want everything. So just that's the key, is just you can't basically over put the rub on there at this point. So just make sure you put a lot on there. That's basically what we're looking at. And then while this thing's kind of sitting and absorbing the rub, you can get your smoker set up to like 225 to 250 is normally what I like to do. This thing weighs about 4 pounds, so it'll take it depends, and you can watch 1,000 videos on that too. But basically, you really can't overcook this thing. It's close enough to midnight It's going to take roughly 12 hours, and I'm hoping this is done between 11 and 1 tomorrow. I want to bring my cousin. He just had surgery, and I want to bring him a big chunk of this tomorrow as a surprise, so he doesn't have to cook or anything. So that's kind of my plan. It does look good. I like that. I don't know what that rub I bought. This one. I don't know what that is in there. I like those. It smells great. I don't know if that's rosemary or thyme or what, but it's a pork rub. So we're going to put this thing on, and I'll probably babysit it for about an hour to make sure it's going to stay to temp, and then I'll just go to bed and get up in the morning and hope for the best. So I just checked the thermometer, or thermometer as some people like to call it, and it's 16 degrees out. The egg is at 250, and here is our pork butt, and we're gonna just grab it and put her on there. So there it sits. That's basically it. And they always say you don't want to keep opening your pit if you're peeking. What is it? If you're looking, you're not cooking. If you're peeking, you're not. I don't remember what the saying is, but anyways, I'm gonna come back in maybe about an hour. That thing, it was about 250. It dropped down because I had the lid open for about a few minutes, but that's pretty much it. We're gonna come back and check it in about an hour, and if everything's where it needs to be, I'm going to bed, and I'm gonna revisit things. I hear a train whistle. We're going to revisit it in the morning. Smoking away. It's been on for about, I'd say about an hour and a half. I'm just going to take a peek, and then maybe a little cooler than I would like, but it's right in the wheelhouse. Woo! All that steam. Oh, there it is. All of its glory. Yeah, it's looking just the way I would hoped it would. Okay, it's 2 o'clock in the morning. I should have went to bed an hour ago, but I didn't. I was waiting for this thing. And it's at about 220, which is still within the range. Oh yeah, yep, that's where you want it to be. It's about 8:30 the next morning. Just coming out here to check on this thing. Oh no. Oh, the temperature dropped. That's not good. Well, it is 19 degrees out. I thought I had this thing set up last night before I went to bed. Normally it doesn't do that, but you really can't, on a pork butt like this, you really can't screw it up. If that were beef, it probably, ooh, that looks pretty good. If that were beef, it would probably dry it out a little bit, just being so low. But I'm gonna open this thing up and let it do its thing for a while. I don't know what happened here. I must have not packed the egg right. I didn't. I added some charcoal, but I didn't clean it out like I normally do. So I'm gonna rescue this thing, and I'll go through that process. It's at like 140. Probably needs to be up around 200 before we pull it. But I'm actually, I don't feel like relighting the egg in it. It already has all the smoky goodness it needs. So I am going to put it in that pan, add a little bit of juice, the drippings here, and cover it with foil and stuff it in the oven for a couple hours. Well, here's what we're dealing with. I put a little bit of the drippings from the pan outside in there. I just added a little bit of apple juice, and I'm going to cover this thing with foil and put it in the oven at like 225 for a few hours. If this was beef, that would have been a disaster, that thing going out, but being pork, I said it yesterday, you really can't screw these things up. It'll still turn out great. So we're gonna, oh, there's the oven. We're gonna toss her in. I am calling this done. Saying 211. Probably doesn't even need to be that, but you can tell it's just kind of splitting apart. I'm gonna let it rest here for a few minutes and start maybe pulling it apart a little bit. See how easy this bone pulls out. Ooh, hot. Come right out of there though. Nice. Yeah, it's literally like basically melting. Oh, it's pretty good. Boy, that stuff just pulling right apart. And do a little taste test here. Look at that. Oh yeah, that's great. Oh man. Ooh, hot. That's really good. I hope everybody enjoyed the process. I wish I could feed the world with it. So there's the finished product. I shredded it. I added a little bit of the Bearded Butcher's original seasoning on it, and then put about a half of a cup of apple juice in there, and then mixed it all in. So I just tried it. It is absolutely fantastic. So hope everyone enjoyed the making of this video.